So the question is, why did we get given the instruction of doing Nityanem, and what can we do about our minds that wander off while we're doing that? Nityanem, the word name means rules. Nit means daily. Your daily practice is what the word Nityanem actually means. And your Nityanem is more than just your commitment to doing certain banya. Your name is your ret, and your lifestyle, conscious living, is a way that we can define the word ret, which is how do you live consciously at every moment. That then extends far greater to what we think our Nityanem is, because the reason we do our Nityanem right now is because it is a tick box. We just have to tick it off the list of things to do in our day. And because we treat it in that way, we don't understand that our conscious thinking and our conscious way of living is our Nityanem. When we don't understand that, we do our duty in the morning, but our conscious thinking isn't part of that Nityanem. Our Nityanem is literally to begin at the beginning of a verse and to end at the end of the verse. Where your mind goes has never been part of your commitment to your Guru. If to your Guru your commitment is to retain the mind, then it actually doesn't matter how long your Nityanem takes. It matters whether you're doing it with consciousness, with your awareness. And when you finish your Nityanem, when you finish reading your part, your commitment to conscious living should not end. So you don't close the gutka and then allow your mind to wander for the rest of the day. Because we've lived for such a long time with our mind wandering in all directions, when we sit down to do our Nityanem, our mind continues to wander in those directions. So we have to understand that our Nityanem, our daily commitment, is to not let our mind wander, so that our Naam Simran is happening all the time. So that when we sit down to do our Nityanem, that our Naam Simran is not something that we start at that point. The Naam Simran should have been going along as much as possible throughout the day. It isn't something that you start doing when you start doing your morning prayers or whatever your morning sadhana or routine is. So your commitment to your daily living is your Nityanem, and that is how you control your mind from wandering around, because you have to control it all the time throughout the day. Where is it going? Is it getting lost in attachments? Is it getting lost in anger or a sense of betterment that I am better than someone else, an ego, or in lust or in greed or in anger? If you allow your mind to do that throughout the day, then of course you're not going to have any ability to restrain that mind for that half an hour or 1 hour that you're sitting down to meditate. Now, the other thing that I always personally recommend is that because your mind is constantly wandering around, with that wandering mind, if you sit down and open up your prayer book or whatever it is and you start reading, you haven't brought that mind into control. I always say that if you were a musician, you would never pick up an instrument and sit on stage and start playing without tuning your instrument. And in the same way, you should never sit down and do your prayers or your sadhana without tuning your mind first, without giving yourself a couple of minutes to drown out the noise that your mind has been doing for so many hours or days or weeks or months. So get into a practice that allows you to silence the mind just for 5 minutes before you do Nityanem, before you do Simran, before you do Kirtan or any meditative practice, any spiritual practice. Drown out the mind, drown out the noise of the mind. And if that means doing a breath meditation, if that means doing yoga postures, whatever it takes for you to silence the mind, even if it means singing some mantra, but doing it consciously so that your mind does not wander, then when you sit down to do your Nityanem, it will be far more fruitful, far more powerful, far more enjoyable. And as soon as Nityanem becomes enjoyable, it's no longer a chore. because it is then part of your divine expression. It's you singing to your beloved. You would never think to sing a love song towards the one that you are madly in love with would be a chore. But we haven't understood that the Nitnem is just love songs. It is music, it is melody. And you singing without that emotion of love is not a very nice song. Nobody wants to listen to that song, because you yourself don't want to listen to that song. So what have we done to our meditation? We've created it as a very dry, robotic set of rules that we have to practice. So much so that we ourselves are bored of doing it. We don't get any enjoyment out of it. And if you are singing a song of love that you yourself aren't enjoying, what on earth is the one that you're singing to going to think? How are you expressing your love when you yourself aren't in that emotion of love? So Nitnem is your expression of love. Let it be something that you enjoy. Let it be something that you do in a conscious state, and then it becomes far easier to connect your mind and to stop your mind from wandering around.